Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Julie Fairhurst, and I am your host. And you are watching another fantastic episode of Women Like Me Stories and Business. Now, today, my heart. I have such a
Mm.
fabulous lady that's with us today. I've known her for many, many years, and I'm just so excited that she has agreed to come on and share her wisdom and all sorts of fun things. But I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. So, Kim Beck, thank you, darling, so much for being here. Can you tell us
Thank
a bit
you.
about yourself?
Thanks, Julie. It's quite an honor to be here and to have been able to watch your progress segueing out of real estate and into what you're doing right now. It's an incredible journey you're on, and I'm pretty tickled pink to say that I've been part of a little part of it. So I'm with a company by the name of Royal LePage North Star. And that's where we met. And I started with the North Star office. I started my real estate career in 1992, working for a guy by the name of Ben Gower. And I'll never forget walking into his office. We were at the same church together. I actually bought my house from Ben. I was a buyer with Ben. And I thought, oh, I like what he does, and I like the way he's doing this. And went to his church and great support during the time that Adam, which is the story that I wrote in one of your books, is the story of his open and closed heart surgery and his tetralogy of Fallot that was diagnosed at day zero when he was born, my first child. And so I remember walking into Ben's office at Block Brothers. We were NRS Block Brothers at the time,
Date
and
yourself.
dating myself. Um, well, 33 years in the business, I've
Yes.
dated.
Oh, no, for sure. Yes.
So I walked in and I saw all the band's awards. And I had no idea he was as good as he was. And I thought, I'm gonna be like him. I want to be like him. I one day want to have an office with all my awards in the back and on the wall. And I think you've been to my office and you see
Yes.
that's what I've got now, that I've got all my
Yes.
awards. And then that's when it started for me. And the journey of helping people. Like our tagline with Royal LePage is helping you is what we do. And sincerely believe that with my whole heart when I come from a servant attitude that I get to help people with most people's single largest decision in their entire life, what they'll spend more money on than anything is real estate.
Yes.
And I don't sell a house. I help people navigate and manage a story.
Yeah.
Long time ago, I made an analogy. I thought, I'm kind of like a pilot. And if I go to Hawaii, I pay my fare and I do what I have to do to get on the airplane. I get on the airplane and sit back and probably have a glass of champagne and just trust I'm gonna get to Maui when they say well, for the most part anyway. I don't we don't think about what goes on behind that cockpit door. We don't think about air traffic controllers and I mean how to build all building the whole mechanism to get you from A to B seems simple enough when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So I compared it to real estate. It's like I'm your pilot and I'm going to navigate you to get from A to B, whatever your story and your why is. I'm going to get you through that process with as little turbulence as possible.
Yeah. That's such a great analogy. All these years I've known you and I've never heard it. That's fabulous, Kim. That is an absolute fantastic analogy. And I think that people sometimes don't realize everything that real estate agents come to the table with and what they can help with and how important it is to like new realtors are great because they're let's get
They've
out
got that energy.
going and stuff, but and it's good, but there's nothing that can be said for 33 years of experience,
No, yeah.
and just navigating those waters are so important.
And you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I'm ever learning.
Yeah.
I'm 33 years in the business and there's always something coming up. I'm going,
Yes.
wait, oh, wow, okay. And you just don't know what you don't know. So
And that's the thing. And we don't even know what we don't know. I love that. Just walking around clueless.
yeah. But
About
there's a whole bunch of things I do know because I'm so long in the business.
yes.
I'll never forget one story of he was my accountant, and he was very particular, very particular. He's an accountant, so he's very, very particular about his way of being. And he said, Kim, I just want to use you. We were purchasing a house in Vancouver, and it was on it can be corridor, and they're older homes in there.
Yeah.
And walking the property with the listing agent, and we're I think we were doing our inspection. I can't remember, but I was there. And in the back corner of the property, there was this little pipe that stuck out of the lawn. And I said to the listing agent, I said, have you checked for an oil tank here? And she didn't know what I was talking about. I said, no, 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 no. And so my accountant, who had no idea either,
Yeah.
I said, no, we've got to stop this whole thing. We've got to get a survey in here to figure out if there's an oil tank in here. And if there's an oil tank, we got to find if there's ingress into the ground, if it's a biohazard. Anyway,
Yeah.
we wrote our subject removal, and we wrote another subject stating that the seller was going to manage and take care of this. Ended up costing the seller, I think at the time it was 75,000.
Kim, I had almost not exact, but very similar situation where I sold a house in Chilliwack and there was a oil tank there and nobody knew about it. And so we wrote in the contract to get it to come out. And it wasn't as expensive as your situation, but it was $30,000. And
Mm-hmm.
just is, and again, it's those things that we need to watch out for our clients.
Well, and again, it was just a notice. It was a walk by notice. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. Wait, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
This is a little spigot that is about this far out of the ground. This little metal thing. That's a
Yeah.
freaking oil tank.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Kim, I would like to ask you if you could give a little bit of advice because there's a lot of agents out there that struggle. I take a look at the real estate boards and then I take a look at, so for example, I'm just trying to think here. I was looking at the stats for last year, and let's just say, for example, Chilliwack had 800. Oh, I think it was the month. So I think Chilliwack board had 800 sales,
Mhm.
but they've got 2,600 realtors.
Mhm.
Mm, and probably a
Mhm.
lot of those 800 sales were done by not just 800 realtors, maybe it was only done by 600 realtors
Mhm.
and they did more business. So people struggle and a lot of people leave the business. What kind of advice can you give if you were somebody was sitting in front of you saying, "Kim, what should I do? Help me out here."
Yeah. Um, there's so many levels of what you can do, but the simplest one is to get a mentor. If you're thinking about getting into the business, you got to figure out why you're getting into the business. If you think it's easy and there's all kinds of money to be made and you get free time, think again because that's not reality.
Yeah.
Sure, you have flexibility and choice. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No one's telling you what to do. You don't get to leave at 5 o'clock and leave your work behind you. Your work is with you. I was just happened to have I'm pretty blessed, was in Rome, and we took a bullet train to Florence for the day and went to wineries, and we happened to be on days and nights. And I got to sell a property going to Florence, and I got to um, sell another property to different clients coming home. And it doesn't stop. So if you think it's money and time off, and it's just not. So your why for getting into real estate has to be really clear, and you have to be coming in with your eyes wide open. And it's also like starting a business. You've got to have some liquidity in your bank account because by the time a deal closes, first of all, you got to get a deal on the books. By the time it closes, you're looking, let's pretend you're lucky. I mean, you and I both know someone who's been in the business now for a year, very well connected in his neighborhood. Took him a year to get his first deal. So you think about how much money you've got to float
Yeah.
and how expensive it is. You've got
Yeah.
office fees, you've got setup fees, you've got board dues, and so it's not
Education.
education is not for the faint of heart.
No.
So my first conversation would be, why are you doing this? Like I say with everyone, the why is so important in any given story, whether you're buying or selling real estate, whether you're changing careers or getting into onto a new path. Why? Why?
Yeah.
The second one for a new realtor is um, go to work for a veteran agent that might be winding down. Maybe there'll be a potential that you could buy their business, their book of business. Giving starts the receiving. So if you give of your time and mentally don't think about the money because you're going to get trained and you're going to get educated by shadowing this person, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
And the thing I think that if I look back on my career, I think one of the mistakes, one of the things I wish I would have done,
Yeah.
nothing is a mistake. I wish I would have done better at following up with the people that already know me and love me. So my database, my lifetime referral system, because now I do my stats and my numbers, and 82% of my business is repeat and referral, comes from my lifetime referral system.
Yeah.
And had I done that when I was doing project marketing and sites, and I'm selling 200 lots and homes over at Cedar Grove or 150 townhouses in the Orchard Park, if I would have taken those people that, I always have fun too. That's a big thing for me. If we're not giggling and laughing, and you know that, then I'm out. So,
Yes.
and most of my clients become my friends and they sit at my dinner table.
They do.
And
I've seen it. I have seen it with my own eyes. You're very, you just, and that's something that I didn't do much with my clients.
mm,
I've got a few clients that even today I still
mm,
chat and we have a glass of wine when we're in the neighborhood and stuff. But you take people under your wing.
I do.
Yeah, and and you make them and you don't do this. I don't. I mean, obviously, it's just natural for you. You know how to make people feel good.
I'll never forget one time, one of my biggest compliments. Well, I've had a few big compliments, but this was I was working for a company by the name, I think it was Dale Barron at the time, branched off from Park Lane Homes or Polygon, one of the two.
Yeah,
And he opened a company by the name of Morningstar Homes. And we were doing a set of his first single family homes down in Rosemary Heights. And there was a land baron. I don't know if you remember the name Olga Illich. Now, she was the Illich family out of Richmond. She was held in high regard and respect. I'd never met her before. I just
yeah,
always heard about this family. And Dale Barron, well, came to me one Monday after open house on the weekend, and he said, "You got a good compliment this weekend, Kim." And I said, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Olga Illich came into our open house, and I didn't know who she was."
yeah,
And Olga came back to Dale and said, "Kim, or Dale, Kim is the best girl in open houses that I've ever met." And my business partner was there, and he says, "Yeah, the moment someone walks in, they automatically love her and trust her, and because she's all about them and figuring out if something that she has and if she can help."
yeah,
And so I think that I took that really to heart, and I've never met her. I never
yeah.
met any
And,
of them.
and I think it just comes natural. Like people, it's when you do that. So what I tell new salespeople is that it's got to be 80% about them.
Oh, all the
20%
time.
or even less about you. If you go to the table and you sit there and all you do is talk about yourself, you're dead. And you're boring them and they don't really want to hear it. They want
Yeah.
to hear about them. And so and I think that you have to really love people and you have to be interested in people for it to
I really am interested when I start asking questions, when I pellet people with questions. I'm seriously a curious cat.
yeah.
I'm interested to know. It's just my nature. And
Yes.
so then you couple that with a bunch of education and a bunch of hard knocks because sure, I've been brought to my knees a handful of times
Yeah.
in my business and learning perspective and putting things it's been a real beautiful evolution, I think. I'm way better person today than I was when I started in the business because of the business, if
Because
that makes sense.
absolutely, I of course I've retired now. I've been retired for a year, but I was in it a long time, and I helped a lot of people. And
Mhm.
the other day, I don't even know why I was thinking about it, but I started thinking about this one particular client that really needed help, and I
Yeah,
was able to get them to where they needed to be. And I just thought that I don't know why it just popped into my head, but yeah, you have to love people. This is a people business, and if you
yeah,
don't love people, well, maybe do the commercial stuff. Don't-
yeah, yeah. No kidding, no kidding. Well,
Yeah.
I used to do, and I've actually started them back up again, but for a period of time, I did client parties. And I would, there was about a 4 year window that I took a Langley restaurant. I booked it out on a Monday because I think they were closed on Monday. It's a Greek restaurant because, I'm married to a Greek and I love
Yeah.
Greek food. And Galini's, we go to Galini's. And I'll never forget my sister-in-law saying to me one time, she goes, everyone that came in that door, Kim, was super happy. And then she was shocked because I think at the time, I think I had well over 100 people. I bought them dinner and drinks and gave
Yeah.
them rides home, and we had a bouzouki player and all kinds of good food. It was super fun. Just a client appreciation. That's, saying thanks for referring me and for using me and trusting me and blah, blah, blah. And her comment was, everyone that came in was so happy and seemed to love you so much. And I'm like, well, that's why I do my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I do my job.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that the residual is awesome.
Yes,
The money is
of course.
lovely. Um, but I do it because I get such and I'm in a not a happy situation right now. And when I get to one of my reprives, one of is going to work and being able to feel the gratitude and love that when I get to help someone with such a large process,
Yes.
it is so fulfilling. It's
Yes.
so fulfilling.
What do you see for your future, Kim?
I'm going to die in my boots. I, I mean, I think, I'm pretty blessed. I mean, well, Bill has a pretty good journey ahead of him. And everyone says to me, well, when he's, are you going to retire? I'm like, I don't think so. I had that little window. We've got a house in Arizona, as you know. And so there was a period of time where I was just resting on my laurels and not doing a lot of business. And I was down there a lot. And I thought, okay, what do I have to do? Go golf again? And go like, oh, it sounds like a little bit of a spoiled brat, but it's about purpose. And
Yeah.
so I sure, I want to probably structure it so that it's not all on me. So now I have an assistant right now. So I haven't had an assistant. I've been Michelle for 2 years now, 3 days a week. I'd like to get her 5 days a week. And I would like to take on, and I'm helping that other agent we talked about, to mentor someone that
Yes.
I've got legs on the ground, boots on the ground, someone that
Yes.
actually is new and hungry and excited and all that kind of stuff
Yes.
that
Yeah.
I can be in Arizona or I can be in Europe. I can
Yes.
be doing whatever we're doing together, Bill and I,
Yeah.
and still be able to get that. This is a little selfish here, but see, still be able to get that emotional reward
Yes.
from navigating a tough story and getting someone what they want
Yeah.
and
Well,
seeing
and
happiness.
and it's and I think this is the biggest thing that people don't that the general public doesn't realize is that it is a 24/7 day, like 24 hour 7 day
Mhm.
job.
Mhm.
And you are never off, even on an airplane.
Mhm.
You're just, unless you have a staff. But even I had staff, and I remember standing on a beach with my cell
Mhm.
phone
Mhm.
in Jamaica. I'm standing on a
Mhm.
beach with my cell phone in Jamaica, and I'm walking my assistant through because
Yeah.
people were supposed to be out, and they're standing there with her little puppy and a moving truck, and there's a house full of furniture, and they're like, oh, well, we told our realtor we're not leaving until such and such.
I had that happen to me, Julie,
You got to
and
deal with it.
I had 911 called. I had the cops there. I don't know if you remember that story, but that was my seller, and we had done an addendum for
I
possession
do
time.
remember that. I do
Yeah,
remember that. Yes.
oh yeah, no, it was not good. And it was just in November. I was just in Maui, and I was right at Fleming Beach, and I spent the better part of 3 hours navigating a deal.
Yep.
And so, and I'm not complaining. Oh, boo hoo. Some people
No.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just,
and not complaining even about standing, on a beach, but my purpose in telling people that is that and for new realtors coming in, it's not weekends off what I say to people is the more successful you get, the harder it is.
Mhm. I say to my friends, they, oh, it's Friday. Tanya's, oh, it's Friday. I'm going, well, Friday is my Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have to work this weekend. Like, no, I'll see
yeah.
you on Wednesday night because Wednesday night is my Friday. I take Thursday, Friday off.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Kim,
It's
I
yeah.
have 5 fun questions that I would like
Okay.
to ask you so that people that are watching or listening to us can get to know you a little bit better. So, are you okay with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Throw
here
them at
we go.
me.
So, what is your favorite book that inspires you in business or life?
Oh, man. Well, what's my read right now? I'm reading right now, Never Split the Difference. But
I
I've
love
got,
that. I love that book.
oh,
Love that book.
yeah, and the other one that hits top right now is Atomic Habits. That's narrated. That's an audiobook that I've got. It's narrated by the author, and he's an ex-baseball player. So those two books are the books like I like to read. I've got lots
Yes.
of books. And, so the Never Split the Difference and Atomic Habits
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
mind right now. So
Good, good. Those are great books. Okay. If you could have dinner with any woman in
mm,
history, who would it be and why?
oh, there's two.
Okay.
Mother Teresa and Princess Diana.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
You know what Mother Teresa said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your families. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, yes. Oh, you gave me shivers. You gave me
Yeah.
shivers. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yes, I
Yeah.
actually haven't heard that quote from her,
Oh,
but that's a beautiful quote. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then why Princess Diana?
Because of her struggles and journey and her her destitute and how so many, I think, of us women are so hard on ourselves.
Yes.
And was for me the epitome of someone who was so hard on herself, yet she had so much, and she couldn't see herself through the eyes that we saw her or I saw her.
Mhm.
Her beauty, her resilience, her just everything, and the tragedy that fell
Mhm.
with her.
Yeah.
I wish we as women could see ourselves through our girlfriend's eyes.
Oh, Kim, that's beautiful. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to use that. That's a beautiful one. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. What's your favorite way to unwind after a busy day?
Oh, burn, bruise, kettle one martini. That's why I'm having trouble saying it. I'm laughing at myself, but that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth.
That's okay.
Kettle one martini. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
It's a little roll of scotch with
Yeah.
good vodka and really cold.
Yeah.
Has to have a twist.
Yeah. Okay. And well, do you have a favorite motivational quote that keeps you going?
Giving starts the receiving. And that is, I'm part of the coaching program with Richard Robbins International. And I can't remember if Richard stole that from someone or if that's his. If it's
Yeah,
his, it's a beautiful life, and giving starts the receiving. I mean, when I get into a little funk,
yeah,
I ask myself, am I giving or I'm expecting to receive? Like, where is my perspective? And the moment I shift it back to serving and giving,
yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, I think it takes the spotlight off of you're putting it on yourself and your issues and focusing on other people. And I agree. I think that's one of the biggest healing things there are in the world is helping other people, helping them through their
So
struggles.
So you know how there's a double-edged sword there, right? Giving
Yes.
starts the receiving because we all like I like my money. I don't have a
Yes.
bad money. Like I think it's the best thing. I think it's and I want lots of it and
Yes.
Yahoo
Yes.
abundance. And you know the little buzz that's going on right now, which I think is really interesting, is the Mel Robbins let them
Yes.
the
Yes.
let them book and the let them theory and
Yeah.
you know that whole realizations of letting go. But in her book, and what I'm noticing that people are missing is the flip side of the let them is the let me.
Yes.
That
Yes.
if there's something that's happened that doesn't work for you and you let them and you want a different outcome, then it comes back to you onto the let me.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
my responsibility in this? How am I going to navigate this? How am I going to show up? Am I feeling left out? Do I want to go and make the phone calls to those? She talks about her girlfriends when she saw them on.
Yes.
So, you know, there's always, with these really good quotes, there's always a flip side
Mm.
of responsibility benefits, something that, you know, ultimately, because we're human.
Yes.
Um, I'm not Mother Teresa.
Well, the thing is that and I'm with you. I love money, and money to me allows me to do all sorts of fantastic things, not just for myself and my family, but my community and for other
Mhm.
people. And so oh, I have a cat up here.
Oh, I was going to say.
Go away. So yeah, so we need to have a better relationship around money. Absolutely, especially as women. Okay, let
You
me
want to hear
ask.
a funny? I want to tell you a funny story about
Sure.
where I was able to wrap my head around the concept of money. Oh, I love your kitty tail. So it was when I read, and everybody's got a financial blueprint, right? We
Yes.
all come from a story of money and whatever that looks like, and being
Yes.
able to navigate and figure out what your blueprint is and if it serves you or if it doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
Um, it was with Harry Potter. So when I read Harry Potter, you know how they have the language, Grignotts is the bank and galleons and whatever, all language that is completely foreign.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I was reading that, I thought, okay, here's a concept here that's really cool. So I do believe in the universe, and I believe that what you put out there comes back,
Yes.
and appreciation. And so I started years and years ago when Harry Potter came out. I started because I've been bankrupt. That's a whole
Yeah.
different conversation, right? So and I remember I had a bad relationship with money, scarcity mentality, and didn't appreciate it. So when I realized that the universe actually doesn't understand the currency, like I didn't understand the currency of Harry Potter, it was different language. What's
Yeah.
a yen or a shekel or whatever? So when I would see a penny on the ground, I would pick it up and thank the universe. Anything that had value, a pop can or whatever, if I got a penny or 2 cents or 5 cents returning a bottle, I would say, oh, this is worth something. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to appreciate it and deal with it the way that I'm showing it respect. And the moment I shifted my thinking, I became blessed.
Yeah. We have to be grateful for what we have, even if it's
Mhm.
finding a penny on the street, Kim.
Yep.
And I love that you use that told us about what you do because sometimes there's people who don't have much, of course. We all were there at one point, but
Yeah, sure.
they don't have much. And so then they think, well, what could I be grateful for? But that just goes to show you could be grateful for the penny that you find on the street.
Oh, absolutely.
And that can change your life.
Yep.
Yeah, it really can. So thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful. Okay, this question might be might be a red herring. I don't know.
Like my glasses, my red herring glasses.
Okay, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Sorry, I was
If
crying.
you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow,
If I
where
could
would you
travel,
go?
sorry, I didn't hear the first part of
If
the
you could
question.
travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why?
Oh my goodness, that's an easy answer. Cooking school in Italy.
Oh,
Umberto's cooking school in Italy. Drinking wine, riding a basket with my baguette and my bottle of wine and going up to my cooking class.
I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
I should have known. I should have known because you've always wanted to go to cooking school
Yeah,
in
yeah, I have.
Italy. Yeah, yeah.
I've got this fabulous book. Now, I don't know if you've heard of, oh, I hate these green
The
screens.
bucket list
Bucket List
journal.
Journal, The
Oh,
Impossible's Ben Neiman. You should Google him.
I'm going
He
to.
did, yeah, do because he's actually got, I think they've got a movie coming out with Netflix, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw my one of the Royal LePage. You know how they always do great things with Royal LePage,
yes.
keynote speakers and
Yeah,
convention and
yeah.
stuff like that. So anyway, but in my bucket list journal, that is like number one.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
well,
Italy school.
and it's true. You write it down, you have
Mhm.
emotion for it,
Mhm.
and it will happen.
You got to set a time frame, and
Yeah,
it's got to be,
yeah,
you've got to have,
yeah, you
and
gotta
it's the
have a
little
time
baby
frame.
steps that get you there.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you got to
yeah.
figure out if you're,
Oh,
whatever your choices are. And that's the Atomic Habits conversation. I don't know if you've read the book, but it's awesome.
I
But it
haven't read
takes
it,
you,
but
oh, it's
yeah,
good. It takes you right back, breaks it right down to the, okay, if I've got this big monster goal to
yeah,
break it down, what are the things that I have to do on a daily basis?
yeah,
So for me, I probably need to put money away and
yeah,
not touch it.
yeah,
Then I'll get over to Italy to Umberto's cooking school.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
well, Kim, this has been a wonderful conversation. I've had so much fun. Not only fun, but you've also had some really good lessons and
mhm.
quotes and just it was wisdom shared and by others. I don't know how many men watch our videos. I know there's a few, um,
Mm.
but I know we have a lot of women. And I think that what you've shared today is going to be so helpful. So thank you so much for being
So,
willing to do
oh,
this. I appreciate
thank you for asking me, Julie. It's
it.
always fun to spend time with you, even
Oh,
if it's on Zoom and we're not drinking a glass of wine
that's
together.
right. So, Kim, in closing, is there anything at all that you would like to share? Any wisdom you want to share with anyone who might be watching or listening?
Wow.
This is your chance, baby.
Oh man. Well, if I could say anything about my journey and pain that I'm going through and that I'm living right now, that is seemingly infinite. Um, I guess it's just one day at a time. Just breathe, just breathe and move your body. Get out for a walk.
Love that. Simple.
Mhm.
Simple. Yeah. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be overly complicated. It can be just the simple things in life.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kim, again so much. Hopefully, you'll grace us with your presence another day as well. And thank you all for watching and listening
Thank
to
you.
us. And we will see you at the next episode.